Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to a very special segment of The Dream is True, normally on Thursday nights at 7 p.m., but decided to break up the live reading this week. We've reached chapter 34 of Kassius, Kanex, and this chapter deserves a segment of its own. So here's a special edition of The Dream is True for you guys. And I hope you enjoy it. I'm just completing my setup, and we're going to get started. All right. Without further ado, Chapter 34, Explosion. The cloud-covered night sky produced a pitch-black backdrop in front of Cass and Rock. Two boats pulled up to the end of the dock. It was the engineers. "Quickly, Cass, let's go," said Drew. Drew and Mac were in the first boat, which Rock boarded, and Cass jumped into the second with Shane and Marcus. Speeding into the black, they navigated using night vision glasses with a signal leading them directly to the Orion, thanks to trackers installed on the Kanex phones. They soon reached the Orion several minutes later, and were shocked to find it resting in plain sight, with the motor off and no visible activity on board. Cass and Rock boarded the Orion immediately. "Melina, Lydia, Lance, where are you?" Cass beckoned. There was no response. Rock went down to the cabin and then immediately returned back on deck. His face was painted with a look that Cass had not seen before. Then Cass became angry and questioned him. "What is it, Rock? What the fuck did you see?" "Cass, you can't go down there. I won't let you." Cass walked closer, and as he did, it caused Rock to shake. And then Rock's face went blank, and he just froze there in a state of suspended animation. The engineers cut the engines, revealing a silence that was tangible. Then Cass slowly walked around Rock's massive suspended frame and made his way down to the cabin below. The approach felt like a year, and it ended with an immense rush which fully enveloped Cass as though it were the end of the world. For what he saw was large sprays of deep red blood which saturated the walls beside the bed. The bed was a sponge-soaked red, and lying in it was his precious Lydia. Her body was cut open, and there were bruises and other smaller cuts all over her naked body and face. Her fingernails on her right hand were clogged with bloody skin that she no doubt gouged out from her attacker. A note was pinned to her forehead with a nail. The merge was now 100% completed, but it no longer mattered to him. He read the note. "You killed my greatest source of revenue, and so I killed your greatest source of being. You will now provide me with $5 million in cash at a location I will make known to you, and there I will hand over your son and wife. Any funny stuff, and the boy gets it next, followed by your wife. But not before I have a little fun with her too first, just like I did with your precious Lydia. A.F." Cass stood there as still as rock up on deck, and he began to process what had happened. He slowly removed the note and the nail from her head and began to wrap her body with some clean sheets from a shelf in the room. As he kissed her on the cheek, Rock began to approach. Kassius, I am so sorry, my friend. I will get him. I will not stop until I do. It doesn't matter, Rock, Cass sobbed. Nothing fucking matters now. You hear me? Nothing. He took Lydia. He took Lydia. He took my precious Lydia. My treasure. Aquarius, Cass. You can fix this with Aquarius. No, Rock. Death cannot be undone with a jump. It is a law of the cosmos of which I learned in the alternate timeline within Pod 1. We must save Lance and Melina. It's all I have left. And once we do, Alejandro Flores will wish he never existed. My precious Lydia, Rock, I must give her a proper burial. Have Marcus take her to my pod and leave her with Aquarius. We are going to get the rest of my family back. But Cass, you have to get the money and wait for him to contact you with the location. I know where they are, Rock. My power is fully restored now. I hear their thoughts loud and clear. They are locked up in a warehouse. There are 2 men there, the Mexicans, one being Alejandro and the other an associate of his, both of whom are about to pay dearly for what they have done. I am with you, Cass, and I too want to tear those fuckers apart for what they did to your Lydia. The warehouse was at a dock across the lake. When they reached the dock, Rock warned Cass, "What if they see us and kill Lance?" "Don't worry, Rock. I have their thoughts tuned in. Any threat to Lance or Melina, and I will lock their brains. Sorry, by the way, for doing that to you back there." "No worries, Cass. I understand." The approach to the warehouse, on foot, through a bit of wooded area, took about 15 minutes. Once at the gate, Cass approached the speaker. "Orion, how did you find us? You better have the money or your family is toast." "I have it. It's on the boat. We can do the exchange there, but first I want to see my family." The gate opened in sync with a buzzing sound. As Rock and Cass made their way in to the main door of the warehouse, Cass felt a tangible feeling of hate. Arriving in a room, he saw Lance and Melina through a large window. They were tied up in chairs with their mouths gagged. On the other side of the room, another window that was blackened out housed the Mexicans. By way of a speaker on the wall, they communicated. "Okay, Orion, you see your family. Now go back to the boat and get the money, or they will be joining your daughter." Then Cass spoke. "Come out here now." Rock began to sweat. "Cass, I hope you know what you are doing." The door opened and the 2 Mexicans came into the room in an awkward-looking walk. "What are you doing to us? How is it that we do not have control of ourselves?" "Sit down and shut the fuck up," Cass said, much to the surprise of Rock. Then Cass drew his .45 ACP out of the concealed holster from within his jacket. The first shot was delivered into the kneecap of the associate, and the second into Alejandro's. Cass released their minds, and the wailing started as they immediately grasped on to their gunshot knees. "Shut up. You are going to pay for this, Orion," said Alejandro. "I said, shut up. And my name is not Orion anymore. It's Kassius Kanex. And know this, you are the ones that are going to pay." Cass continued with additional gunshots to the other kneecaps. With both men now sitting helpless on the ground, he began to enter their minds. With his hands raised, he began to push slowly forward and backward. The heads of the Mexicans followed the movements, and veins began protruding from their necks and faces. He continued the process for a moment, and then with one final quick shove in the air, a fireworks of exploding blood vessels launched the men into eventual collapse. Cass walked over to the dead men and landed a spit on each of them. Then, turning toward the window, he saw looks of fear from Lance and Melina. It was fear towards him. It would never be the same. They saw Cass at his worst. The revenge was something unstoppable that drew him in. He lashed out, and both Lance and Melina were witness to it. Rock smashed the window, and they rescued Lance and Melina. Carrying them to the boat, Melina sobbed in Cass's arms. Questions rained down on Cass from Melina. "Where is Lydia? Who were those men? Why did they do this? What do they want?" "Lydia's gone, my darling Melina. I am so sorry. I killed those bastards for what they did to our precious Lydia." "No, Cass. No, no, no. I saw what you did, Cass. Who is Orion? And who are you? What kind of secrets have you been keeping?" "Lydia, Lydia, Lydia, no." "Oh, Melina, it's me, Cass. It has always been me, don't you see?" Cass knew it would never be the same. Those men ruined everything. They took Lydia and they stole Lance and Melina away in the process. Cass brought them home to rest, telling them that the events that transpired must not be made public. Then he had to enter their minds to make them understand and agree. It was all he could do, for all was ruined, and he just needed time to think. Putting Melina and Lance to bed under a trance-induced state, he went to the pod. Opening the trapdoor, he proceeded down to the lobby and on toward the treasure chest-marked door, all the while thinking about the greatest treasure that it now contained, a treasure that had been now stripped from his life. As he entered the room, there his precious Lydia lay on the cot. Aquarius was with her, and had cleaned up all the blood and made her look whole again. But she was dead. Then Cass began communicating with Aquarius. "How can I bring her back, Aquarius? There must be a way. Kassius Kanex, you know that jumping cannot bring back the dead. I'm sorry." "Aquarius, there must be a way. There is always a way. I know that you are withholding something from me, for I can sense it. Tell me now." "Kassius Kanex, yes, there is a way, but it is the long way. You can't just make a jump and fix things. The knowledge you have of Lydia's death would not be erased, and therefore her death would not either. Instead, it would ultimately occur just as it has in this timeline due to fate. The only way to bring Lydia back is to start all over. You must make a jump and begin life over again as an infant, to grow up and acquire the life you had by once again living it. It is the only way to keep the secret from yourself. You see, Kassius, keeping the secret of Lydia's death is the only way to bring her back for good. Do you understand now? Yes, Aquarius, I now know what I must do. Cass slowly lifted Lydia's body from the cot and replaced it with his own. Aquarius then began enveloping Cass's bald head with his tentacles, and the consciousness of Kassius Kanex began to evaporate. The decision was an easy one. Everything would be fixed. For Kassius Kanex would see to it personally. Oh, hey guys, what do you think of that? So that is chapter 34. When I say buckle up for the book Kassius Kanex, people often wonder, like, it seems pretty tame, it seems pretty mellow, it's kind of a slow burn. But when you reach chapter 34 and everything flies off the rails, it's all just going insane right now from this point forward. I'm so happy to have reached this point of the ride with you guys. So thank you for this is a special edition of The Dream is True, just the live reading segment. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, thanks so much. I am MK Schultz, horror sci-fi author, and this is The Dream is True. Normally it's every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. But yeah, this was your special edition of chapter 34. So thank you so much. And remember, the dream is true.